Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadanti Supadandikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Srivadapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Rughunatham Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadudam Parjana Saidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vidam Sham He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Namostude Tapta Kanjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shabano Sude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpadarubhesha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishwabadaya Krishna Prishtaya Budale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Dhamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prajarine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gauravakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 13, text 8 to 12. Hamanitvam adambitvam ahimsa kshatirarjavam acharyopasanam saucham sairyam atma vinigraha indriyarteshu vairagyam anhankara evacha janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanu darshanam asaktir anabhishwanga putradhara grihadishu nityam cha samachittatvam Ishtanishtopapatishu Magi Chananya Yogena Bhaktir Abhyabhicharini Vivikta Desha Sevitvam Aratir Jana Samsadi Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam Tattva Janartha Darshanam Etaj Jnanam Idi Proktam Ajnanam Yadato Anyatha. Okay, Mayuri Mataji, can you please recite?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Amanitvam adambitvam ahimsa shantir arjavam acharya upasanam saucham dhairyam atma vinigraha indriyartheshu vairagyam anhankara evacha janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha dosh anudarshanam asakti anavishvanga putradhara grah adishu Nityam cha samachittatvam ishta anitya upapattishu mai cha ananya yogena bhakti abhyavicharini vivikta desha sevitvam arati jan sansadi adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnana arth darshanam etat jnanam iti proktam ajnanam yat at anyatha.
Very good. So, translation we'll just read then. From which quality we have to start? Any idea? We'll read from there only. Otherwise, it will take long time.
Simplicity, Prabhuji.
Simplicity. Okay.
5th paragraph.
Okay. Humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest, even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization, and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I declare to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance. So Lord Krishna is giving a big list, explaining what is knowledge, what are the qualities required to situate ourselves in knowledge. All these are knowledge, rest all is ignorance. So we'll go to simplicity, right? Simplicity means that without diplomacy, one should be so straightforward that he can disclose the real truth even to an enemy. As for acceptance of the spiritual master, that is essential, because without the instruction of a bona fide spiritual master, one cannot progress in the spiritual science. One should approach a spiritual master with all humility and offer him all services so that he will be pleased to bestow his blessings upon the disciple. Because a bona fide spiritual master is a representative of Krishna, if he bestows any blessings upon his disciple, that will make the disciple immediately advanced without the disciples following the regulatory principles. Or the regulatory principles will be easier for one who has served the spiritual master without reservation. So simplicity means without diplomacy, one should be so straightforward that he can disclose the real truth even to an enemy. Usually we are all duplicitous. Okay, we don't follow any simplicity, because in our mind we think something, we say something else, and we do something else, isn't it? This is usually happening. Simplicity means we should be able to even say the truth even to the enemy, isn't it? So it should not be so. And if we have that simplicity only, we will be able to accept the spiritual master. And without accepting the spiritual master, it is not possible for us to advance spiritually. It is a must. Okay, that's why Lord Krishna tells Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshana. We have to serve our spiritual master with all humility, total surrenderance, and we have to give him all due respect. We should not think that I know everything. Guru Maharaj, please tell me only whatever I don't know. We should have all the humility, and we should accept whatever instruction. Maybe it is a repeated instruction, but we have to listen. Why the instruction is being repeated? Because we are not ready to follow that. The instructions are repeated again and again. If you are following that instruction, he will not repeat, isn't it? Time and again, Prabhupada says, we are not the body, we are the soul. He repeats that every time in the class. Then the devotees ask, Prabhupada, how many times you are repeating the same thing? But then Prabhupada asks, have you really understood what I mean? You are not the body, you are the soul. Have you come to that platform? Then the disciple said, no, bro. That's it is my duty to emphasize that every now and then, so that you will rise to that platform of really understanding and putting that into practice. That means vijnanam. So you have only knowledge that you are not body, you are the soul. But are you experiencing that, or are you practicing that? Are you really living on that platform? No, it is not. So that so he repeats the instruction. So we should not think, oh, okay, this instruction I have heard so many times, so why should I go to that class? And even different pastimes that are there, for example, Narasimha Leela. Okay, many times we have heard. Okay, when we know today's topic by the preacher is Narasimha Leela. Oh, I have heard this, so why should I go? Is this a right attitude? Why? I know this story very well. Then why should I again go? What is the reason?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. The number of time we hear it, we actually get purified, Prabhu.
Yes.
So it not. And when I was hearing in one lecture, I think Amarendra Das Prabhu was telling, like when the preacher is preaching something, and we know this. For example, Damodar Leela, all of us will know. So when we are listening to it, we think, okay, we know this. We all know this. What again? He's going to just say something, but there will be at least one point from that which we actually don't know.
Yes.
Because there is many things which we don't know, but we think Damodar Leela, this only no. So one is for the purification, and second thing, yes, definitely we will be getting another additional knowledge to it too.
Right, exactly, Madhaji. First thing is that the more number of times we hear the same lila or different lila, whatever it is, any harikatha for that matter, we get purified. Okay. Second thing is there will be some take home point from each class, because different devotees have different ways of presenting different points they explain. So there will be some point that definitely we'll be able to take home, even if it is the same subject matter that we are hearing again and again. And on top of that, there's one more very big advantage. What is that? Can anyone say? Parag Prabhu? The very darshan of that pure devotee will transform our consciousness. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Kohe, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoye. Okay, that audience of the pure devotee, for even a fraction of moment, that can purify our heart, that can transform our heart. So we should go every time when we get a chance to see senior devotees or Maharajas, we should go and associate with them. Otherwise, what we'll be doing? We'll be doing some other khatha too, isn't it? What khatha that we all know. Okay, so we should not miss any chance. So spiritual master, accepting a spiritual master, one should be very simple. If we are arrogant, if we are adamant, stubborn, and if you think that I know so many things, why should I go to a spiritual master? He is going to tell me the same story. Why should I go and meet him and surrender unto him? He doesn't know better than me. Sometimes I may know better than him. But in that way, we will not be able to progress spiritually. Spiritual master is a realized soul. Jnanina Tattva Darshinaha. He has seen the absolute truth. Maybe he's a very simple person. Maybe he doesn't have a material qualification. He doesn't have a PhD, or he doesn't have post-graduation degree or any degree for that matter. But what he has is he is a realized soul. For example, we know in our own parampara, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, spiritual master, Gaur Kishore Babaji Maharaj, he was almost illiterate. He could not even sign his name. But he was a totally self-realized, saintly personality. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, on the contrary, was an erudite scholar, well versed in all the philosophies, all the doctrines, and he was a linguist. He knew so many languages. Such a scholar, he took initiation from Gaur Kishore Babaji Maharaj, was almost illiterate. So why did he take that decision? Why did he take that decision? What made him to decide that my spiritual master is Gaur Kishore Babaji Maharaj, who is totally illiterate? What was the reason that he accepted or surrendered to his lotus feet? What was the reason? Parag Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, because he was a pure devotee, Prabhuji. He was chanting 24/7, Prabhu.
He was a pure devotee. It is not the material qualification that counts. We may have, PhD degree, we may have this degree, that degree. That is only, in the material world for our survival. But a person, a saintly personality, even though he doesn't have any such material, academic qualification, but he is a pure devotee of the Lord, and he knows all the conclusions of the Vedas, and he has realized the absolute truth. So that is the real qualification. All other material qualifications are only for our stomach only, nothing else, survival. If you really want to advance spiritually, if you want to go back home, back to Godhead, then we should have this spiritual knowledge, and we should try ourselves to advance spiritually, slowly and gradually. Otherwise, it is not possible. So, accepting a spiritual master will, enable us or facilitate us in that direction. So, this is so simplicity is a must. So, cleanliness is essential for making advancement in spiritual life. There are two kinds of cleanliness: external and internal. External cleanliness means taking a bath, but for internal cleanliness, one has to think of Krishna always and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This process cleans the accumulated dust of past karma from the mind. So, cleanliness means two types of cleanliness. One is external, other one is internal. External, by taking daily bath, we can clean ourselves. Internal, by chanting the Mahamantra. Okay. So by chanting the Mahamantra, what we are cleaning, all those dirt, rubbish that we have collected over so many lifetimes, which are there in our heart or in our mind as impressions. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. All this will be cleansed. So external cleanliness also important, and internal cleanliness also important. More than everything, internal cleanliness. That is more important. We have to give more important. But in the material world, we give importance to our external appearance, external cleanliness. No, we want to look very good. We want to appear very nice in front of friends and relatives and colleagues. But internally, what we are carrying, we know, and one more person knows. Paramatma. Okay. It is stinking like anything, isn't it? So cleanliness is must. Steadiness means that one should be very determined to make progress in spiritual life. Without such determination, one cannot make tangible progress. Steadiness means that is a consistency in everything that we do. Should be consistent. Okay. We are all, one day we are very enthusiastic, next day we are totally down. I have a headache, I have toothache, I have this ache, and I will not chant. Okay. With all, sometimes with all enthusiasm, we'll chant 24 rounds, next day no round. Where is the steadiness? Where is the nishtha? So we should be consistent in our this thing. Even if we are chanting 2 rounds, our commitment is that the whole life I will do that. Whatever we are doing, there are, suppose a person is, with all his might, with all his energy, with all his money, he is building a big temple. Okay? Big temple, with a lot of money is spent, gold, this and that, with very nice temple for the Lord. Okay, then he forgot. But there, on the contrary, there is another person. He is not doing anything. He is every day cleaning the temple. Throughout his life, he is just cleaning the temple. Which person is best? Which person is the best? Yes?
Who is cleaning them?
Yes, every day, 365 days, till his last breath, he is doing this service. Consistently he is doing that. So that is service, that is steadiness. It's not that one day he is doing, one day he is not doing. But the person who has money, he built a temple, he just forgot. He's not doing anything, no service. He has spent a lot of money, no doubt. It's a good pious activity only. But a person who is doing some mega services, but is consistent in his service, that is the best service. So steadiness should be there. And for steadiness, we need encouragement. So when we have encouragement, definitely we'll be doing that consistently. Steadiness will be there. So without such determination, one cannot make tangible progress. So we should be, whatever little service we are doing, we should not make some, lame excuses. Oh, today I could not do that. No, I'll do it tomorrow. No, you tell the children to study, Mama or Papa, I'll do it tomorrow. Okay, because they don't want to be lazy. Opposite of that is laziness, isn't it? That tomorrow never comes. So steadiness is very important. And self-control means that one should not accept anything which is detrimental to the path of spiritual progress. So that is self-control. So self-control means, in other words, it's sense control also. Okay, if you don't control our senses, it will go like the horses without reins, without the driver. It goes here and there, idhar thidhar, without direction. So our senses are also like that. It goes here and there, idhar thidhar. So we should have that sense control or self-control. Otherwise, what happens? It is detrimental for our spiritual advancement. So we should do only that is favorable for our spiritual advancement, for spiritual progress. One should become accustomed to this and reject anything which is against the path of spiritual progress. So you're all, most of you are Bhakti Shastri students. Okay, in the nectar of instruction, Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jihva Vegam, Udaro Pastha Vegam, Edan Vegan Yu Vishay Edadira, Sarvam Abhimam Pritim Shishyat. Okay, so there's a very good sloka which Rupa Goswami has given. We should control all this Vacho, Manasa, Krodha. These are the three subtle urges. Okay, Udara, then Vacho Vegam, Manasa, Krodha, Jihva, Udaro, Apastha. These are the gross urges. So those who can control these 6 urges, they are called Goswami. Okay. They can be called Goswami, and they can make disciples all over the world because their senses are under control. Okay, those who are not doing that, the senses will control them. Okay, they are called dasa. So one should not accept anything which is detrimental to the path of spiritual progress. So we should reject all that is detrimental for our spiritual progress. This is real renunciation. Renunciation means that which impede our path of self-realization. So the senses are so strong that they are always anxious to have sense gratification. Okay. One should not cater to these demands. That's it is that impulse to do anything. So actually the senses, we are not planning to do anything. The impulse is such strong that we spontaneously do sense gratification. So to avoid that, we should train or we should tame all our senses. How? By engaging the senses in spiritual devotion or devotional services. That is the real way of controlling the senses, or engaging the senses in something higher, in spiritual activities. That is how we can control the senses. Otherwise, it goes after the sense objects. Nobody is there to control. The mind should be tamed in such a way that it should control the senses. This is good, this is bad, we should not that. And that mind should be overseen by intelligence. Who is the overseer of the mind? Who oversees the mind? Who is the overseer? What is that?
Intelligence.
Yes, intelligence. Intelligence is a faculty that discriminates good and bad, right and wrong. Okay, so intelligence has to do its duty to control the mind, to direct the mind in the right way. If the intelligence sleeps, what happens? Okay, there is a very good analogy given in the Kathopanishad. You must have heard that. You know, there's a cart, there's 5 horses. The cart is compared to the body, okay, our gross body. We have a body, right? So this cart is compared to the body. The 5 horses are the senses, Panchedriya. The mind is the reins, Lagam. Okay, and the intelligence is the driver, and the soul is the passenger at the back seat who is comfortably, traveling in that horse cart. Okay, so the body or the cart is the body. Okay, and the 5 horses are the senses. The mind is the rein. Okay, and the driver is the intelligence, and the soul and the traveler in the back seat is the soul or Atma. So who is the topmost? Who is the topmost? Who should be protected? Whom we should protect? We should protect the horse. We should protect the car, the cart. Whom we should? Who is the person to be protected in this?
Intelligence.
Atma Prabhu.
No. Who should be protected?
Soul.
Soul. So soul, that is the passenger who is traveling in that cart, right? And who should direct the driver? Who should direct the driver? The soul wants to go a particular destination. Soul is telling the driver, I want to go to so-and-so destination. I want to go to Krishna's abode. So take me there. Okay. And soul is sitting comfortably in the back seat. Okay. It is driver's duty to instruct the, driver's duty to instruct the person who is, controlling the reins. Okay. So intelligence has to control the mind. Mind is holding the rein. Okay. So according to how he manages the rein, the cart will move in that direction. Right? So intelligence has to, really identify which is the path that he has to take. So intelligence will instruct the mind, and the mind in turn will control all the 5 senses, the horses, to go into the right direction so that it reaches the destination in the right manner without any accident. So it's a very good analogy given there. Okay. So the senses are so strong that they are always anxious to have sense gratification. So if the mind doesn't control the senses, here in this scenario, the reins are not controlled by the intelligence. The horses, the 5 horses will go hither thither, here and there. Will it meet with an accident or will it go to the destination? What will happen? Unbridled horses, what will happen? It will go and meet with some accident, definitely. It will not reach the destination. That's why this hierarchy, First is dull matter, then the senses, then the mind, then intelligence, then the soul. This is the hierarchy. The lowest is the dull matter. And our body is made of dull matter, Panchabhuta. Bhumi, Rapo, Analo, Vayu, come. Okay? Above that is the senses. Above that is the mind. Above mind is the intelligence. And above intelligence is the soul proper. So, these senses are so strong that they are always anxious to have sense gratification. One should not cater to these demands, which are not necessary, because senses always want to enjoy. So instead of giving the lower taste, we should give some higher taste. The senses cannot be, kept idle. It is always active. It wants to do something. So what we have to do, instead of allowing it to enjoy on a lower platform, we should try to engage in a higher platform, higher taste we should give. Senses should only be gratified to keep the body fit so that one can discharge his duty in advancing in spiritual life. So we should allow the senses to perform in such a way that we should keep the body fit so that we can engage in devotional service for our spiritual advancement. The most important and uncontrollable sense is the tongue, the most voracious. It is one, but it does two activity. Okay, all others, we have 2 ears, but it has only one activity, hearing. We have 2 eyes, we only see, and we have 1 tongue. We have 2 activity. We do 2 activity with that. What are those?
Eat and talk.
Yes, always vibrating. The tongue doesn't stop. Always talking something or other, and want to enjoy all palatable food. Okay. And that is the most voracious sense of our body. And from that only all the problem comes. Okay. And if you utilize this particular sense, we can win over everything and we can attain Krishna also. Rupa Goswami again says in Nectar of Devotion, Arhat Prabhu, do you know that Atha Sri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grahyam indriye sevon mukhi jivado swayam eva spurati atah. Have you learned that? Sachi Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
I know that, Prabhuji.
Atah Sri Krishna Namadi, the name, qualities, okay, paraphernalia, and leelas, all these things cannot be understood by our blunt material senses. Atha Sri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grahyam indriyed. We cannot understand with our blunt material senses. Okay, sevon mukhehi jihvadu. By service. How? With our tongue. Swayam eva spuritiya. It will be automatically revealed to us. All that is required to be known. Now, how we can serve with our tongue? How we can serve with our tongue?
By chanting, Prabhuji.
By chanting and
Speaking Krishna.
Prasad Grahan.
And
yes, honoring prasadam. So with this tongue, we can get Krishna, not with our senses. We will not be able to understand, Lord Krishna and his pastimes, his activities, and his paraphernalia, his qualities, his devotees. We will not be able to understand using our senses. Only by serving with our tongue. Always chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We will be able to, attain him. Why? Because that purifies our consciousness, purify our existence. All the kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, everything will be cleansed simply by chanting. It purifies our heart. And Krishna will be revealed to us automatically. So this is the technique that we all should follow. The function of the tongue is to taste and to vibrate. There are 2 activities. Therefore, by systematic regulation, the tongue should always be engaged in tasting the remnants of foodstuffs offered to Krishna and chanting Hare Krishna. As far as the eyes are concerned, they should not be allowed to see anything but the beautiful form of Krishna, because eyes want to see something really beautiful. Okay. We know the story of Dhanurdhas. Ramanujacharya had a disciple by name Dhanurdhas. Okay, when a procession was going on, when the Utsava Murti was taken for the Shiveli, for the Pradakshina, a person was also in that procession, but he, his wife or lover, I don't know, he was holding the umbrella and, seeing always constantly on the face of that lady, And when everybody is trying to look or have the audience of the Utsamurti, this person is, watching or looking at the face of his wife or, lover. So Ramanujacharya from distance saw this. Now, how is that this everybody is, trying to see the Lord, and this person is always constantly staring at that face of that lady and holding an umbrella also. So, he requested somebody, please call him. Then Ramanujacharya asked, why is that, when the Lord's procession is going on, you are not taking any interest to see the Lord, but at the same time, you are constantly staring at your wife's face. Then he said, she's so beautiful that I cannot take off my eyes from her face. I have not seen any beauty better than her beauty. Then Ramanujacharya, asked, if you see better beauty than your wife, will you stop this activity? Will you surrender to that beauty? He said, sure, I will do that. Then you do one thing. Please come to the temple tomorrow morning. Okay, I will be there. I will show you, a beauty that is unmatched. You should surrender. So he, as requested, he went next day to the temple. Then Ramanujacharya prayed to Lord Ranganath. Okay, please reveal your beauty to this person. And as the door opened, of the temple opened, he showed him the Lord Ranganath, and he was totally mesmerized by seeing the beauty, and he was, struck, and he was, staring at the Lord's beauty, and he really got attracted to that beauty. Then he fell at the feet of Ramanujacharya, that I will be, your disciple, I will be the servant of Lord Ranganath forever. And he became a very good devotee and disciple of Ramanujacharya. Okay, so our eyes want to enjoy something really beautiful. So instead of seeing something material, mundane beauty, we should be able to enjoy the beauty of the Supreme Lord. Okay. People will say, it's just a murti, it's just made of metal or stone or sand or, clay or something like that. Yes, definitely. But, he is living in that. He is present in that. We should be able to see that. How we can see the Lord in that? By hearing. By hearing from the scriptures, then we'll be able to see that. By hearing, we will have that conviction that Lord is there. As Rukmani Mata, she did not see Krishna at all, isn't it? She has never seen Krishna, but by continuously hearing about Krishna, she developed attachment to Krishna. She developed love towards Krishna, and she wanted to get married to Krishna. She sent a love letter. The first ever love letter in the history was written by Rukmani Mata to Lord Krishna, sent through a Brahmana. Okay. And so by hearing, she could see, she could really feel Krishna. So like that, we should, by hearing, we will be able to see the Krishna in the deity also. He facilitates, because we don't have the spiritual vision to see Lord Krishna in his Satchidananda form. So Lord Krishna facilitates to come and give us darshan in the deity form. So we should see Krishna's forms. There are beautiful deities all over India. Many temples should go and see those deities and plead and cry for giving darshan to us. Then it is possible. Therefore, by systematic regulation, the tongue should always be engaged in tasting the remnants of food stuff offered to Krishna and chanting Hare Krishna. So, tongue eating remnants of food offered to Krishna and for chanting Hare Krishna mantra. As far as the eyes are concerned, they should not be allowed to see anything but the beautiful form of Krishna that will control the eyes. So like that, all our senses should be controlled, or rather engaged in the service of the Lord, so that we will not try to engage in material sense gratification. Similarly, the ears should be engaged in hearing about Krishna, and the nose in smelling the flowers offered to Krishna. This is the process of devotional service. So all the five senses can be engaged in devotional service. And it is understood here that Bhagavad Gita is simply expounding the science of devotional service. Devotional service is the main and sole objective. Unintelligent commentators on the Bhagavad Gita try to divert the mind of the reader to other subjects, but there is no other subject in Bhagavad Gita than devotional service. False ego means accepting this body as oneself. Always we say that we are not the body, we are the soul. So identifying us with the body is called false ego. Okay, I am the proprietor, I am the controller, I am the owner, I am the master, I am this, I am that. This is false identification. It's all temporary. All these upadhis attached to our body, it's all temporary. Okay? This will maximum come with us till the last breath. After that, we cannot take this. We cannot take our name, we cannot take our fame, we cannot take our possession, relatives, wealth, anything for that matter. We cannot take anything. What comes with us is only devotional service. So this is false ego, accepting this body and the designation attached to that body. When one understands that is not his body and his spirit soul, he comes to this real ego. So that is the real ego. Everyone has ego. That is real ego and false ego. The false ego is identifying ourselves with the body. The true ego is identifying ourselves as the servant of Supreme Lord. Jivere Swarupo hai, Krishnera Nityadas. That is the true ego. Ego is there. False ego is condemned, but not real ego. Okay. Ahamkar, aham, me, I. In the Vedic literature, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, it is said, aham brahmasmi, I am Brahman, I am spirit. This I am, the sense of self, also exists in the liberated stage of self-realization. This sense of I am is ego, but when the sense of I am is applied to this false body, it is false ego. Okay, aham, the spirit soul, yes, the part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. But when it applies to the body, it is false ego. When the sense of self is applied to the reality, that is real ego. There are some philosophers who say we should give up our ego, but we cannot give up our ego because ego means identity. We ought, of course, to give up the false identification with the body. So ego is identity. We should give up the false ego, but not the real or true ego. The true ego is that we are the eternal servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should try to understand the distress of accepting birth, death, old age and disease. Okay, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. We should stop it because only in the human form of life it is possible. In other forms it is not possible. There are descriptions in various Vedic literatures of birth. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, the word of the unborn, a child's stay in the womb of the mother, its suffering, etc., are very graphically described. I think today also we won't be able to make it up. So I'll stop here. This because almost 10 o'clock, right? Because they will start the chanting session now. So we'll start next week from this para. Please note down, Mataji. Okay. One should try to understand. Haribol, I'll stop sharing. And Parag Prabhu, we are planning to come to Dubai next week.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So you should be here, Prabhuji.
I don't know. Let's see.
I will pick you, Prabhuji, from Dubai.
Yeah, we'll talk that on that.
Okay, Prabhuji. That will be the great blessings, Prabhuji, on that Saturday.
Okay.
And next week, physical class, Prabhuji.
Next week, Tuesday. We'll be reaching Tuesday only.
Oh, Tuesday. Coming, Prabhuji?
Yeah, to Dubai.
No, this is coming Tuesday or next
Yeah,
Tuesday?
yeah. This coming to the 15th, I think.
Yes, Prabhuji. So
Yeah,
Saturday,
anyway,
Prabhuji,
I will
you are-
confirm that. I will confirm that once we get the visa and all. Within couple of days time, I'll confirm.
But
We'll see
Prabhuji,
that.
Saturday, Prabhuji,
Yeah,
I'll
we'll-
pick you up.
we'll-
Evening, I'll drop you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Anyway, Friday we have our yatra program. No, Saturday we have the yatra program in the evening.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah, we'll talk probably. No problem. Okay, Hare Krishna.
So, listen to me. My prayers answered, Prabhuji.
That's it. Let's see if everything goes well. Krishna is willing.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you,
Prabhuji. Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Yay!